How could you let me humiliate myself like this? You're the worst. To think my own cousin would set me up for a failure like this. I don't know what you're talking about. What did I do this time? Why didn't you tell me he was in a relationship? Who? Stop acting dumb. You know who I'm referring to. I confessed my feelings and got turned down. I made a complete fool out of myself. Oh, you confessed to Lucas? Yes, he's in a relationship. Couldn't you have mentioned that sooner? I didn't think you'd actually go through with it. Didn't you say you'd never date anyone beneath you? I figured you'd given up on him since you're technically his boss now. Besides, he's 23 years your senior. That's not what I meant when I said that. I was trying to say that I'd never date anyone younger or shorter than me. And before you get all judgmental, I'd like to remind you that I'm literally 5'1". Do you know how difficult it is to find decent guys these days? Well, no, I don't know that. This is the first time you've brought that up. I assumed all of your past relationships had been fulfilling. You assumed wrong. I'm tired of dating entitled man-children. The moment I first laid my eyes on Lucas, I knew we were meant to be. We have so much in common, and I feel like he truly understands me. Do you want me to apologize to you? Is that what this is all about? I'm sorry, I didn't warn you he had a girlfriend. Are you satisfied now? What do you think? What's her name? Lucas chose not to disclose that information to you. It's really not my place to speak. You're really choosing your coworker over your dear cousin who's like a little sister to you? I can't betray my friend's trust. Tell me, Thomas, doesn't the fact that I've inherited the company make me your boss? Yes, and what are you going to do, fire me? Becoming the majority shareholder doesn't suddenly make the whole company your playground, Brandy. You can't get rid of your CTO because of something as petty as not disclosing the identity of the girlfriend of your crush. Perhaps you're right, but I can still ensure that you are removed from the board. I can't believe you're this childish. Well, I'm only 24. I'm still allowed to be uninhibited. My answer is still no. Oh, come on! It's not like I'm going to harm her. I'm just asking out of curiosity. You've just threatened your own cousin. I don't even want to imagine what you do to your romantic rival. You do realize we could get into huge trouble if you fired her for no reason, right? I'm not going to fire her. I swear on my mother's grave. Brandy! What? That's the only way you'll believe I'm telling the truth, isn't it? Besides, Lucas would never forgive me if I did that. He'd forever think that I'm some immature brat. Okay, fine. It's Morgana Everton. Sorry, who? That sounds like the name of a wicked witch in some old novel. Are you sure you aren't making it up? It's too weird. Says the girl who was named after liquor. Excuse me? My name is Classy. Where did he even meet that witch anyway? Has he said anything about that? Do you seriously not know who she is? Does it sound like I'm feigning ignorance? She's one of our EVPs. Have you done any research at all? Well, no. I was preoccupied with prepping my love confession, remember? If she works with him, I must have seen her. After all, I've visited the head office quite a lot of times to check up on my beloved. I highly doubt that. She doesn't spend that much time with Lucas at work. Because their relationship's crumbling apart? No, it's because they're respecting the company's guidelines. How old is she? She must be pretty old if she's an EVP, right? She's 46. You must be kidding me. She's ancient. Choose your words carefully, Brandy. Don't forget that I'm turning 39 this year. Ugh, fine. Sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I'm just flabbergasted that he turned me down for a woman that could be my mother. Are you saying you'd prefer him to be interested in someone who could be his daughter? Obviously, it just makes no sense to me. I'm younger, I'm wealthier, I'm 99.9% sure I'm better looking than her. What's his problem? You have no right to be insulting Miss Everton. She's a wonderful person inside and out. Besides, they've known each other for over 20 years. That's exactly why he should have gotten bored of her by now. Thomas, I need you to be my inside man. Help me find a way to break them apart. I am not going to do that. We may not be close friends, but we are still on amicable terms. I've worked alongside these people for over a decade. Gosh, you're so righteous, aren't you? Haven't you heard that all is fair in love and war? I can see neither love nor war here, just a rich girl throwing a tantrum. Okay, then what about this? What if I sell you some of my shares? Would you really do that? I already have more money than I know what to do with. Honestly, I'd rather focus on my career as an influencer. How about this? I'll give you 1/3 of my shares if you get Lucas to go out with me. Are you absolutely certain you're ready to honor your word? Yes, I am. All right, I'll help you out. I knew you'd come around. Every relationship has its weak points. Try to identify them and use them to our advantage. Sure, whatever you say. Good evening, Morgana. Do you have a moment to talk? Yes, of course. What is it? I wanted to ask you for some advice. I'm planning on getting something special for Lucas to congratulate him on his stellar annual evaluation. I was wondering if you could help me pick out a gift? You could always ask him up front what it is that he'd like to receive. I'm sure he'll appreciate the straightforwardness. But that would ruin the surprise, wouldn't it? It's quite all right. He's never been a fan of surprises. All right then, I'll take your word for it. Have you already picked out your gift? Are you trying to steal my gift idea, Thomas? That's not very nice of you. What? No, of course not. I'd never do something so juvenile. I know. I was just joking with you. You sounded a bit too rigid and serious, so I figured I'd lighten the mood. Are you sure everything is all right? I'm sorry. Is that how I came off? It's been a long day. I'm just tired. I see. So, do you already know what you'll be getting him? I'd like to make sure we don't accidentally end up giving him the same gift. I don't think that's going to be an issue. The gift I have in mind is something that can't be replicated. Now I'm even more intrigued. Is it a vacation? Oh, no. As dull as it may sound, we'll be celebrating at home. I don't really have a right to judge. I haven't made any plans for the holidays. That can't be true. I thought the extremely wealthy always celebrated with lavish, glamorous parties. Well, I have yet to get an invitation to one of those. Don't let Brandy know I said this, but I think it'll take a long time for us not to be considered the nouveau riche. I wouldn't worry too much about it. They're a lot less stuffy and a lot more fun to observe anyway. No wonder Brandy has so many followers. You've seen her social media accounts? I've had a brief look at them. I hope that's all right. Of course, I don't see an issue with that. So you'll be spending the holidays with Lucas. I'm glad to see that your relationship is as strong as ever. You've been together for almost 16 years now, haven't you? Well, officially, yes. Unofficially, it's been a bit longer than that. That's pretty impressive. You know, my longest relationship lasted for 5 years. Do you happen to have any relationship advice for me? I could really use the help. I'm not sure what to tell you. On what exactly are you seeking advice? I'd love to know what has kept you together for so long. Well, that's pretty simple. We have highly compatible personalities. We share lots of the same core values, morals, and views on life. We were probably more different at the beginning of our relationship, but gradually, our ideals must have shifted and morphed together. So you agree on everything, is that it? Well, no. There are still plenty of small things on which we disagree. We just choose to be respectful of each other's opinions and compromise when needed. We found that taking on issues with a problem-solving oriented attitude always works better than letting our heat-of-the-moment emotions direct our actions. Oh, and I absolutely adore everything about him. I even love all of his flaws and imperfections. That's also important. I see. It doesn't look like you'll be parting ways anytime soon. Well, I hope not, but who can say for sure? Life's full of surprises. So you believe it's possible that the two of you could break up? Could I ever believe it to be impossible? Even if our lives followed a highly predictable pattern, I still would not have known what lay ahead. I do know one thing, though. What is it? You are up to something. I'm not quite sure what, but I believe it has something to do with your cousin's inheritance. Be honest with me, are you monitoring my texts? You're just an easy person to read. Even when you can't see my face? Especially when I can't see your face. Now you're scaring me. You learn to pick up on these things when you've known someone for so long. Would you like to share what's been weighing on your mind, or would you prefer to keep it a secret? Can I be completely honest with you? Of course, I'm great at keeping secrets. I believe my late uncle made a huge mistake leaving his shares to his only daughter. She's not nearly qualified enough, nor does she have any relevant experience. The fact that she's the majority shareholder and, for whatever reason, is determined to help manage the company makes me feel terribly worried about the future. I figured it might be something along those lines. After all, you've put so much time and energy into this company. We all have. So you share my concerns? I don't mean to talk about her behind her back, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't the slightest bit worried. Still, I'm not sure if there's anything we can do about it. What if I told you there was a way for her to give up 1/3 of her shares? I'd be curious to know what she's asking for in return. She said she'd give me 1/3 of her shares if I somehow managed to break up your relationship and got her to go out with Lucas. That must be a joke. Why would she ever offer something so outlandish? Have they even spoken to one another? Well, she'd visit the office often and she'd make small talk with him. I guess that's when she developed feelings for him. I see, but what are you suggesting? I can't possibly give up on the love of my life over something like this. As important as the fate of this company is to me, I still care more about my partner. I know, and I'm not asking you to change that. I was just shocked by her flippant attitude towards her stake in the company and wanted to vent my frustrations. I'm at my wit's end. Well, I do have one idea, but it would require you to put complete trust in me. Do you trust me, Thomas? Of course. Then how about we discuss the details in person? Could you come to the office? You're still at work? I am. I want to make sure everything's taken care of for the holidays. Oh, all right. I'll be there shortly. Great. Thank you. I spoke with Morgana. I think I've found the reason Thomas won't leave her for you. You have? What is it? He seems to be intimidated by you. Intimidated? Don't be ridiculous. He's like twice my size. No, what I'm trying to say is that he's intimidated by your role as his supervisor. Some are better at hiding it than others, but plenty of men have fragile egos. The fact that you're half his age and his boss makes it impossible for him to develop feelings for you. But I'm not even his direct supervisor. I was even planning on making him the CEO. You're still the majority shareholder. No matter what you do, you'll always be his superior. I guess you could fire him, but I doubt he'd be too happy about that. That's not fair. I don't deserve to be denied my true love because of these stupid shares. Well, there is one way you could solve all these problems in one go. What is it? It's a bit risky, though. You could lose everything. Are you ready to give it all up for your one true love? I don't know what that means, but yes, I guess I'm ready. You could switch places with her. Like in Freaky Friday? What? No. I meant your positions in the company. You could switch those around. I still don't get it. You could sell your shares to her. That way you'd completely disassociate yourself from the company. What? Are you saying I have to sell my father's company to my rival? How could I ever do that? Do you trust me, Brandy? You said so yourself. We are like siblings. I do. I've been in this industry my whole life. I know this company inside and out. Things just haven't been the same ever since my uncle passed away. The truth is, it's only a matter of time before everything falls apart. Without a competent leader, this business is a ticking time bomb. It is? Yes, Miss Everton has every necessary qualification. She has years of experience working in this field. She's one of the best in the industry. I can personally vouch for her commitment to this company. Besides, if she became the new majority shareholder, that'd automatically make Lucas her subordinate. And then he'd be intimidated by her presence and leave her. And then he'd run to me since I'm better than her in every other way. Exactly. You'd have more time to focus on your YouTube channel, too. And there are still a dozen other companies, both public and private, that my uncle held shares in. You'll never even notice the difference. It is true that I only visited your office because of Lucas. That place is mind-numbingly boring. It can be at times. But are you sure this will convince him to leave her? I don't want to lie to you and say that I'm absolutely certain that's what he'll do, but I'd say it's highly likely. That's why it's a risky plan. All I can say is that I, personally, don't see a single reason for him to turn you down after this. Right, any guy would be lucky to have me. I've been blessed with beauty and brains, plus I'm rich. Once I'm no longer his boss, I'll shower him with compliments every day. What more could he want? What else could he possibly want? Okay, we have a deal. There's no rush. You can think it over if you'd like. It's a big commitment. Not everyone can risk so much for love. I'm sure I want to do it. I'll take the risk and have him all to myself. As you wish. Shall we celebrate my good luck? As you wish, Miss Everton. You're the boss. I wonder, has your ego been bruised yet, or is it waiting for the first paycheck? Oh, I'm already looking for a younger lover to regain at least a portion of the self-respect I've lost. Or, wait, I can't do that anymore, can I? My boss might ruin my career if things end up turning sour. What can I say? You should have thought about that before you slept with your superior. Where has your sense of foresight been, Lucas? Frankly, had I been able to see 20 years into the future back when we first started seeing one another, I'd still have chosen to end up right here. There must be something you'd have changed. Nothing in particular comes to mind. What about you? Would you have done anything differently? No, I'm perfectly happy with my life. Now more so than ever. You ended up splitting the shares 50-50, right? Right, Thomas has been incredibly generous. I offered him 70%, but he insisted on splitting it down the middle.
I guess everything went better than we had anticipated.
Of course, I told you it'd all work out. It's all thanks to your natural charisma and my persuasive voice.
Is that so?
It is. Oh, and let's not forget just the right amount of gray hair. It looks very sophisticated, perfectly fit for a CEO. I can already picture it in my mind.
It would be a nice touch, wouldn't it?
Too bad we have to wait a bit longer. Hopefully we'll be able to start the restructuring process soon enough.
It's a good thing I've never lacked practice.
It really is. So, how are we celebrating?
Well, I wouldn't mind staying in for dinner and a movie, but if you've grown weary of the same old thing, we can always think of something else.
No, that sounds perfect. I'll stop by a bakery on my way there and grab something delicious.
Sounds great, thank you.
My pleasure.
Morgana and I ended up splitting Brandy's shares in half. Shortly after that, we conducted a successful business restructuring, promoting Lucas to CEO. From then on, we practically rebuilt the company from the ground up. We removed inefficiencies, bureaucracy, and outdated discriminatory business practices. We also agreed to focus our efforts on innovation. I felt a little guilty, essentially tricking my cousin into giving up ownership of her company, but I knew it was all for the greater good. Lucas became preoccupied with his new duties as CEO, meaning he no longer had the time to humor Brandy's chit-chat. The reason behind her sudden fixation on him remains a mystery to me. She was devastated for some time after he stopped communicating with her, but found the strength to move on when some actor gifted her a small island for her birthday. I suppose all's well that ends well.